Angela and this is Devon Thread Tales. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be talking to you about all the things that I've made in February. There's quite a few things that have been made, not just by me, but actually by all of my children as well, which is really exciting. So I'm going to be sharing those with you. They're feeling a little bit shy today, so I'm going to tell you all about them instead, but I won't take any credit for them. They have all been sewn by them. Before I get started, I just wanted to say a really massive thank you. I've had a little flurry of new subscribers recently, and I just wanted to say a massive thank you to all of those who have subscribed recently and those of you who have subscribed over the period of time since I started my YouTube channel. I really love doing this. I really love the community. I love the chat that we have in the comments below. It's just really great and it just feels really supportive and lovely, and yeah, I just really like it, and I just wanted to say thank you. So in addition to that, obviously if you are new and you haven't subscribed and you enjoy this, then please do press the subscribe button as well. Give me a thumbs up and give me a hello in the comments as well. I'm also over on Instagram, and I'll put the details of that in the description below, so that if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that too. Okay, so on with the makes. I'm going to grab the first thing and show you. So the first thing that I want to show you is something that I made for Ellen, and I have to say, I think out of all the makes that I've made, this is my absolute favourite. I really enjoyed sewing it. It was a really nice sew. It was bright and colourful, and it just made me smile every time I was working with the fabric, and now that the garment's complete, I just think Ellen looks super, super cute in it as well. So I made the Kwik Sew K4138, and I showed this on my plans video, and I decided I was going to make this dress version out of some rainbow fabric that I bought from Haberdashery Fabrics and More, and it is a cotton quilting fabric. So this is the dress. Now I had to make a couple of modifications on it. I made the size small, but when I finished making it up, before I absolutely totally finished it, Ellen tried it on and it was just a bit too big really around the waist. So other than the waistline, all of it fitted absolutely fine. So what I did is I unpicked the waistband and I just gathered the stitching a little bit more and just reduced the length of the waistband. And now it fits her really, really well in the waist. So it's a really full skirt, and one of the problems I had, because I was using quilting cotton, was that it was just too narrow to get the whole circle skirt out of. So you do the circle skirt in two halves. So what I ended up doing is I ended up doing a seam down the front, just adding the seam allowance, and I'll see if I can show you where it is. So it's here. So I tried to pattern match it so that you could hopefully not tell that there was a seam in the middle, and it just came out really well. I'll pop some pictures and video up as I'm showing you this, but oh my goodness, I'm so pleased with it. And my other daughter, my middle daughter, as soon as she saw it, said, I want one of them. So tried it on, made sure it fit, and the next one is being cut out and sewn up for hopefully soon, but I'm waiting for some zips and things. But yes, dress number 2 of this is being sewn up as we speak. I just used some buttons that I had from my stash, which were just these little plain blue ones. We had lots of different buttons and we tried them all against it and decided just keeping it quite sort of plain and simple was the best thing to do, because it was quite a busy print anyway. It's got this really great pocket at the front, nice big pocket, which is, you know, really nice and roomy. So I don't know, as teenagers do, you can probably stick a phone in there. And then it's got these lovely side seam pockets as well, which are yeah, really nice and roomy, so that's really nice. I don't think I took anything off the length of it. I think I kept the length as it was in the pattern. I just turned it up by, I think it was 1.5 centimetres, and hemmed it. And I'm trying to think of any other modifications I made to it. I think that was it. The other problem that I had was that I was using a directional print, which was probably not the best idea, but I probably laid the pattern pieces out on this about a dozen times, trying to work out which was the best way to have this so that the rainbows fell the correct way. And there's just no way that you can do it so that they're all always going to be facing the correct way. So in the end, I opted for making sure they were the correct way down the centre. So when the skirt is sort of falling down like that on the sides, the rainbows do go sideways each way, but we're all right with that. So sticking with Ellen, I'm just going to go and grab something else that was made for Ellen in this month, but she actually made it herself. Okay, so Ellen has made something and she's too shy to share it. She's had some pictures done and we've taken a little bit of video of her, and I'm going to put that up so you can see it. But she was too shy to come and talk to you about it herself. But I'm not taking any credit for this. This is something that Ellen has made, and it's just a little bit different. That's all I'm going to say. So she has been saying for a little while that she really fancies making an apron, but not just a plain apron. She wanted to make a fancy apron. And before all of the lockdown happened, we went to Hobbycraft, and while we were there, she was looking at the patterns and came across this vintage, or the vintage series that Simplicity do in there. And it's an apron pattern. It's Simplicity 1221. It has an A after it as well, so I don't know if that's relevant to put that there. But it's a 1940s vintage style apron pattern. And she saw this and just went, oh, that's the sort of thing I want to make. So I went, do you know what? Let's just get it and let's get some fabric and get it going. Let's get started with it. So she decided she wanted to make this version here with the big frills on the side. So we bought some fabric while we were in Hobbycraft, and then when we came home we had to try and find some really wide ribbon because they didn't have that in there, and actually it was quite hard to find something that was wide enough, and in the end we had to go for something just ever so slightly narrower, but it was fine because what we've ended up with is quite full on anyway. So this is the apron that she has made, and it is just fabulous, I have to say. I really like it. So it's got these really big sort of embellishments then, if you like, on the side with this lace. We've done it in or she's done it in like a ivory coloured broderie anglais lace, and this really lovely quilting cotton, which has just got sort of a little bit of a flower design within the colour scheme of the fabric. I'll stand up so I can show you the rest of it. Got a nice long skirt. She decided to put 2 pockets on it. It's all gathered. It has a crossover back design, and it has ties to do it up at the back. And it is just lovely. I have to say, she is so delighted with it, and she hasn't cooked with it on yet because she's only just finished it recently, but she said the next time I do some baking I'm definitely going to be wearing this. So should have probably waited and taken some pictures of her actually doing some baking in it and shown you some of those, but it's just lovely, and I love the fact that it's really different. It's just not normal clothing, it's not normal style, and yeah, I just absolutely love it. And she looks really gorgeous in it. We took some pictures of her in it with the dress on that I showed you a moment ago. So it's really sort of pushed the skirt out. She went, oh, I think I look a bit big in this. I said, I think it's just the full circle skirt underneath it. Bless her. So yeah, really, really great. I really like this design where it sort of comes up in a V at the centre, and yeah, just really gorgeous and really different. I have to say it was a bit tricky, and I did have to help her a little bit with it. Although it's a really nice pattern, the instructions in it were somewhat sparse, and although there were some pictures and things in it, it was quite difficult to follow. So she did have to have some help. For the majority of it, sort of hemming it and all that kind of thing, she was absolutely fine, and putting the straps together, and she did a bit of gathering and putting the lace in the side. That was all fine, but the bit in the middle where you had to attach everything in that V did get quite complicated, and we had to redo it a few times. But do you know what? She persevered with it and she did it. We've been doing this over several months because she has just got so much schoolwork to do, so she's just been doing a little bit here and there as she's fancied doing it and has enjoyed it. So that was Ellen's make. While I'm on the subject of children and what that they've been making things, I'm going to show you something that Amy's made. So Amy, a little while ago, had a birthday, and she decided that she wanted to have her try at sewing. If any of you have been following me for a while, you'll know that Amy is an absolute out and out knitter. She knits like Billy-O and knits so many different things. And she's currently knitting something which looks absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to share it with you. And sometimes she shares her makes on my video, which is really lovely, and I think you guys have all really enjoyed seeing that. But she's decided she wants to have a go at sewing, and she's said all along, I don't think sewing's for me. I really think that knitting is my thing, but I want to give it a go. And if I can find something that I like and it fits, then I might just make those things over and over again. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So she actually came with me to Make 140, which is a haberdashery in Royal William Yard in Plymouth. It's a really lovely shop. It has some absolutely fantastic fabrics, and it's just really quaint and quirky, and I absolutely love it. But we went there and she went through the patterns and decided on the Sorrel dress or Sorrel dress by Jennifer Lauren Handmade. This is a really lovely dress, and I have to say the instructions and everything on it was absolutely fantastic, and she's put the garment together with very, very little help from myself. She was very adamant through it all and sort of said, I don't want you to help me. Well, I do want you to help me, but I want to look at the steps and see if I can work it out for myself, and then you can tell me if I've got it right. So that's kind of what we did the whole way along. And she did such an amazing job. She chose this fabric, which she got from Haberdashery Fabrics and More in Plymouth, and she made this dress. Now, I was really worried when she chose this fabric because I just thought, oh my gosh, that's going to look really dated and it's going to just look a bit strange, and I wasn't sort of sure. But Amy's a very determined young lady, so we went with it and we got this fabric. She made it up, put it on, and oh my gosh, it just looked fantastic. And I have to say, I'm so impressed with the dress, and I can't wait for her to have another little go at making some more. So I'm just trying to think now what size we made. I'm pretty sure she did a size 8 at the top and graded down to a 6 at the waist and 6 throughout the rest of the skirt section of the dress. And she basically graded from just underneath where the bust would come down to here. So, and it fits like an absolute glove. It has some little pleats, 2 little pleats in the top here, and 2 little pleats that match in the skirt at the bottom, and it has the same on the back, 2 little pleats that match top and bottom. She really was a bit nervous about doing buttons, so we decided to go with the easier route, which was, well, we thought was the easier route, which was putting in some snaps. And she used these, oh, it's very bright on the screen, sorry, she used these goldy sort of brassy snaps, which are just really nice and easy to sort of pop open and shut. It's got a self-facing on the, or it's got a facing on the collar, which I think opens up to lots of different ideas. She could make this in a plain fabric and just have a patterned facing, or she could have a patterned fabric with a plain facing, or contrasting. I just think the options with this are quite big, and I think that she could also make this just as a blouse, but it really suits her. She really loves it. And then her younger sister has also said, I'd quite like one like that too, but I don't think she wants to actually make it. I think she'd like me to make it for her, so I might have to borrow the pattern off of Amy. But just super pleased with how that's come out, and I'm so happy for her. She still says, I'm not really sure it's my thing. However, she got very, very excited about the idea of sewing, and once she had finished this, she then said, right, I want to make something else. What can I make? So she decided to make a skirt, and she went through all of my patterns. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you the pattern because for some reason I just can't lay my hand on it. I must have put it away somewhere very safe, and I can't find the actual pattern to show you, but I'll try and pop a picture up on the screen. It's the Sewaholic Hollyburn skirt. Now, I've made this skirt a couple of times before. One of my other daughters has made it quite some time ago, and she's decided to make it, and she's made it out of this fabric which I got from my mum's stash. And I remember my mum made me a jacket when I first started working. Quite loud. I was obviously quite brave when I was younger, and she made it out of this plaid or check fabric, which is sort of a, well, it's about 30 years old, no, about 25 years old, this fabric. So I can't in any way tell you what the content is of it, but it's like a viscose wool kind of thing. It's quite thick, but she's made it, and my gosh, she's so chuffed with it. She's put the zip in at the back, which is great. She kind of pattern matched an awful lot of it. This is meant to be made with a non-directional print, so I really try to steer her away from this fabric, but like I say, she's quite determined and she really wanted to make it. So she's made it. She's got the pockets in there. Again, I'll pop some pictures up of her wearing it, but it just looks fab and she's so chuffed with it. We did make a longer version and then we snipped it up a bit shorter and then we snipped it up a bit shorter. So it's quite short now, but I think it looks really nice and it really suits her. And I think she's got lots of different options to be able to wear this. She can certainly wear it with some nice thick tights, and she can wear it with lots of different coloured tops, you know, the red, navy, green, white, you know, whatever she wants to wear it with. I think it works really, really well. So that was the makes from Amy, and while she really enjoyed doing that, once she'd got to the end of the skirt, I sort of did a bit of a, do you want to make anything else then? And she went, no, I think I'm done for a minute, but I might the next holiday that we have. So yeah, fair enough. Really, really busy with A-level work and things at the moment, so I can't put pressure on her to do any more sewing. But she really enjoyed both of those, and she's really enjoyed the end result of them, and she can't wait for the warmer weather so that she can wear her sorrel dress. So yeah, really, really chuffed for her with all of that. So again, another follow-on from this, bit of a doubler this time, but following on from Amy making the Hollyburn skirt, my eldest daughter did her very first bit of sewing and she decided to make the Hollyburn skirt as well. So I'm just going to grab that and show you that too. So Katie tried her hand at sewing for the first time as well, and I have to say all three of them were doing a bit of sewing and I was. We have got two sewing machines, so in that respect it's not too bad. But it did get a bit fraught at one stage, and I don't feel like I've done very much sewing at all, because I've been letting one of the girls use my sewing machine, and then they've been sharing between their other sewing machine as well. So yeah, it was quite funny. Really great that they're getting involved in it all, but yeah, maybe I need to do a bit of a rota on the sewing machine. Anyway, Katie decided to make this skirt, and she's made the Hollyburn skirt, but she's made a much longer version, and Katie's not particularly tall, so this actually comes down to roughly midway down her calf, and she's made it out of this fabric that we got from Minerva Craft, and we bought it. It was called a broadcloth. I'd never seen or heard of this before, wasn't quite sure what it was, but it's a really nice weight cotton. It's not too heavy, it's not like quilting cotton, but it's also not like poly cotton, so it's not sort of stiff. It's got a really nice sort of feel to it. It's very, very soft, not as soft and lightweight as cotton lawn either, but again, she's obviously got the pockets in here on each side. She's got the zip at the back, and I just absolutely love the colours in this. Sorry, the sun's really shining on it, so it's going a bit white at the bottom. But I really love the colours in it. It's got sort of a bright purple, a deep blue, a turquoise, a lime green, a jade green, an orange, a yellow. And I think I've got photos of her, which I'll pop up on screen, where she's got a yellow jumper on, and it looks really, really lovely. But she's also worn it with a royal blue top, a black shirt. It just looks really nice. She hasn't been out in it because obviously we can't go out at the moment, and I'm not quite sure what she's going to wear on her feet. We're not quite sure, so the pictures I've got of her are with just some socks on. But I think she could probably get away with wearing boots with this, or she could wear some little pumps or trainers. I think that would look really, really nice. But I love this fabric and it's absolutely gorgeous. And once she'd finished that, she had quite a bit of fabric left over, and she made herself a couple of scrunchies. So that was quite fun as well, that she managed to do that. So that was what Katie made. Again, not taking any credit for that. It's all Katie's. So that's everything, I think, that the children have made. And I say children, they're young adults really. I make it sound like they're 7 and 8 years old, don't I? Sorry. But going on from what Katie has made, I thought it would be then most appropriate to show you what I've made for Katie. So I'm just going to grab that. So while Katie's been down from uni, she has been down a lot longer than what she actually anticipated, because she thought she was going to be going back in January, and obviously then lockdown happened, so she wasn't able to go back, and the universities weren't accepting students to go back. So she didn't really have very many things in her wardrobe because they're all still up in her uni room. So I said to her, is there anything in particular you would like? She said, a nice warm top would be quite nice. Now, over the Christmas, my mum and dad got me this pattern, which is the Nikko, True Bias Nikko top. Really have had my eye on this for such a long time. It comes with different options. There's obviously sleeved option or a no sleeved option, a top and a dress. And the reason I've held off buying this for such a long time is because I've got the stretch book from Tilly and the Buttons, which has got the Freya top in it and the Freya dress, which actually I'm wearing the Freya dress at the moment, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. And I thought, what's the point of having that if I've already got the Tilly and the Buttons Freya? It's a waste of money. But my parents asked me what I'd like for Christmas, and I thought, maybe it'd be quite nice to actually have it, because I'd really like to do the dress, and we'll just see if the fit is any different. And I just wanted to report back really on what I found with it. Now, obviously, I've only made this for my daughter. I haven't made this yet for myself, but I have made her a Freya top before. So I asked her about the fit. And I think that the fit on the shoulders, where the seam comes, is slightly different. And also the neck, she said, is very different. She really likes the Freya. She thinks that it fits really nicely and it's very, very comfortable. But the neck on it is much looser and doesn't stand quite as tight around her neck. Not that the Nikko is tight and uncomfortable, but it has a much sort of more rigid look to it, because it's obviously just that bit smaller and stands against her skin a little bit better. So that, I think, so far has been the biggest difference. Possibly the finished garment sizes maybe are slightly tighter as well on the Nikko than they are on the Freya, but other than that, I don't think there's a massive amount of difference. I think they do look quite different. Obviously they're very similar style top, but I think if you put them side by side, they do actually look different. At the moment, I can't tell you which one I prefer, and I probably won't prefer one or the other, because I think they both have great things about them. But she's really pleased with what I've done for her. So the first one I made was this one, which is a long sleeve version and just a top. They're both tops, and I made this out of a really lovely fabric. Oh, that sun's really bright, isn't it? A really lovely fabric that I had left over from my dad. I made my dad a t-shirt from this, and I bought it from Fabworks Mill. It's a really nice thick, it's still just a cotton jersey, but it is nice and thick and a nice weight. So although it's not sort of fleecy or loop back or anything like that, it's still got a really nice warm feel to it. And I think it looks super, super smart on her. I think it looks really lovely. And she said it's really comfy and it's nice and warm. So she's really, really pleased with that one. So then when I finished making that one, I had some other jersey left over. It's great, actually, been using up some of my stash. I had some other jersey left over from a dress that I'd made my youngest daughter quite some time ago. And I think this fabric was from Hobbycraft, and it's just a cotton jersey, much lighter weight. So when I spoke to Katie about what she would like this one to be like, she decided she'd like it to be 3/4 length sleeves. So I just chopped the sleeves off at sort of elbow length, and this is a really nice cotton jersey. It's got sort of a squiggly line through it. It's not quite straight line. Well, they are straight lines, but they're not all sort of whole. They're all kind of jaggedy. I quite like it, and it's slightly cream with a and the stripes are in a black. And this is just really, really lovely. She's worn this with I think she wore it with a denim skirt, and she's worn it with jeans. And the other day she wore it, which is the pictures that I'm going to put in, she wore it with this really cute ready to wear dunga dress or pinafore dress, and it just looked really, really lovely. And I'm just so pleased with how they've come out, and she's really happy with them too. So yeah, really, really pleased with those two makes. So I've got a few more things to show you. I'm just going to grab something that I made for my husband. So I didn't want my husband to feel left out, seeing as I've made lots of things for my daughters, or they will be making things. So I decided to make something for my husband, and I made him another Burda 6602. I've made this before. This is the pattern, and it's a really super easy unisex t-shirt and hoodie pattern. It comes with a long sleeve top, a long sleeve hoodie, a fake sort of long sleeve top and a short sleeve top. And I've made this for him as a pajama t-shirt top. I've made it for him in like a jumper sort of style as well. And this time I've made it out of a melange fabric that I bought from Minerva Craft. And I have to say, this is really, really lovely. I think I talked about this on my plans video, but I've used melange before, which has been quite thick and really, really warm and lovely. In fact, I made him a top very similar to this. But this melange is much thinner, but it still has quite a nice warm feel to it. It's a lovely colour actually. I don't know if that'll come up on the screen, but it's like a navy blue with lots of different sort of varying shades of blue through it. And it is just so lovely and soft. I made this up probably in less than an hour, I have to say. It is so quick and easy to do. And then I finished all of the hems on my cover stitch machine. Now, a couple of people have been asking me how I've been getting on with my cover stitch machine. I'm not really confident with it yet. I find it very terrifying, but bit by bit and garment by garment, I am finding it that little bit easier. And some of the things that I've used it on, I've been so pleased with the finish that it's given. So I used it to hem this, and I ended up just with a really lovely flat hem on the bottom and no sort of tunneling or pulling of stitches or anything like that. Now, I have just done a sew along recently on this dress, which is made out of the same fabric, and I talk about hemming on knit garments at the very end of the video and how you can use different things and different options, and I show what the cover stitch finish looks like as well. So if you're interested in that, then do go and have a look. I'll put a link in so that you can have a little look. But yeah, really, really pleased with this. He's pleased with it as well. I think I made the size small for him, and it just fits him really lovely. He likes it because it's just a bit thinner than the one that I've made before. So yeah, really, really great. So whilst talking about this fabric and that make, I did actually originally buy this fabric to make him a similar top, and then when it came, I stole it. So I decided to make the Tilly and the Buttons Freya dress, which is a dress from the stretch book that Tilly has got. Now, this is a fantastic book. I really, really like it. It's helped me with my knit garment making. I think she's got some fantastic tips in there for just using a sewing machine, for also using an overlocker, but basically sort of being able to sew with whatever it is that you have to your hand to be able to use to sew up garments. And I made the Freya dress. So I should have put a post-it note in this, shouldn't I? So I could show you straight away. But I made the Freya dress, which it comes originally as a top, and then there are variations within the book to be able to make it into a dress or to have different designs on the neck. Now, I decided to do the cowl neck version, which is sort of this great big sort of, well, cowl. I can't really explain it as anything else. It's a cowl neck. So if I show you, this is what it looks like. It's really, really big. Whereas obviously originally the neck is just sort of like a little turtleneck, and I've made it into a dress, so it has like a little A-line kind of look. I will obviously put pictures up and a video up of me wearing it, and this is the dress that I did a sew along to, which I talked about a moment ago, so please do go and have a little look at that. I made the size 4 in this, and my measurements are 36 bust, 30 waist and 37 hips ish to all of those measurements, and the size 4 fits me perfectly. I didn't make any alterations to it at all. The only thing that I will say is, and I don't know whether this is down to the fabric or what I did with the hems, I have no idea, but for me, I wish I just had another inch on the length of the sleeve. So when I make it next time, which I have made it before, and I don't remember it being sort of short on the arms, but when I make it again, I will just definitely add an inch to the length of the sleeve, because it fits fine. If you see, sort of it kind of comes down nicely to there, but when I'm moving around, I just feel like it's come up a bit too far, and I think I would just like it a little bit longer. But this fabric again is a melange. That sun really is bright, isn't it? Sorry. It's a melange fabric, and it's in these reds, and it's got sort of burgundies and brick red and orangey reds, just really, really nice colours in it. I'm really pleased with it. It just feels so comfortable, but because it's lightweight, it doesn't feel heavy and restricting or anything like that. I'm really, really pleased with it, and they do it in lots of different colours, and I'm so tempted to go and buy some more and make some more of these, but I don't know, it'd be funny to have the same dress several times. I don't know. So yeah, really, really pleased with this, and I'm really happy with how it's come out, and it just feels really comfortable. So I only have 2 more items to show you, but they are 2 items that I'm going to wear together. So I'm just going to get changed and I'll show you those. An awful lot of times people ask me on here if I can please show my sewing fails as well as the things that I've made and accomplished and feel really happy with. So I just thought it would be good to show you something that I had made which has gone really, really wrong. I had bought quite some time ago a pattern called the Daisy Bralette and Brief or Pants pattern, and I bought it from Sew Your Own Wardrobe. Really lovely pattern. I've seen loads of really great versions of this online, and I bought a kit from them which was in this colourway of a turquoise with a pink, cerise pink trim. Now this is, before I go on to tell you that this has been a sewing fail, because it absolutely has been a sewing fail, I will just state this is not the fault of the pattern. It is not the fault of anything except for my own stupidity, basically. So please don't be put off buying this pattern, because I think it is brilliant and I would like to have another go at trying to do it. But for the moment, I'm still feeling a bit like with it. So I need to go back to it when I'm feeling a bit braver. So I've only done the bralette for the moment. In fact, I haven't even finished the bralette. I'll show you what I've done. Seems a bit strange me holding up my underwear, or it's not actually my underwear because I haven't worn it yet. But this is what I've done so far. It has a band across the bottom which is in a stretchy lace, and it's then got an elasticated section in the middle to keep it sort of nice and rigid. It then has cups which then have elastic coming down underneath the armpit. It has hook and eyes so that you can attach it at the back, and then it's meant to have straps obviously going over the back, but this is at the point at which I realised I'd gone very wrong, so I stopped and I haven't attached the straps because I might be able to use that in a different version of this. So I came home from work one day and was feeling a bit and decided that I would like to make this, and I just thought I keep putting it off because I'm scared of doing it. I just need to do it. So I got the pattern out and traced it all out, and that was where I went wrong, because what I have done is I've traced the wrong lines. So instead of it sort of being there and there, I've traced there and there, and so when I then try to put this around me, well, let's just say I had a gap about that big where I couldn't actually attach it. So something went very, very wrong in my drawing out of the pattern, and it's just the most bizarre thing, and I can't work out what it is, but I was put off doing this because I thought it would be really difficult to sew underwear. Obviously it's gone wrong, but what I will say is it's made me realise it's not that difficult to sew. Actually, you know, the instructions were brilliant, and it tells you how to set your sewing machine and what width to have your zigzag on and all that kind of thing. So I'm really pleased with how it's gone together. I just can't put it on because it's just too small. I went like that and it went as I was doing it, so I was like, oh dear. So I will have another go at doing that, but it is a lesson of, if you're tired, maybe don't try and do something that's complicated. So yeah, that was my sewing fail. And in the past, when I've had sewing fails, I've then gone on to do something else, and that's been a sewing fail. And I think a little while ago I lost my sewing mojo, and I think it was because I had a series of things that I either didn't like or didn't go very well. So I knew when I had done this that I needed to sew something that I knew was going to be a success, I knew would be okay because I'd done it before. And that's when I decided to make these pajamas. And I'm not going to lie, I love them. I just think they're so fabulous. So I have made the True Bias Linden sweatshirt, and I've made the Hudson, oh, just dropped everything on the floor, the is this grey line? I can never remember who this is by. True Bias Hudson pants. And I am so pleased with how they've come out. I will just show you like this, but I'll put proper pictures up as well. So I've used a contrasting ribbing on both the neckline, on the cuffs, and on the bottom hemband. I've also used that on the elasticated section of the Hudson pants, the trim on the side of the pockets, and I've also used it, oh, that sun is so bright, sorry. I've also used it on the cuffs at the bottom of my feet. Probably better if I actually put some pictures in around it than me trying to show you on the screen like that. And they are so, so comfy. Now I made these knowing that I'd made both of these garments before, and I knew how to make them, and hopefully it wouldn't go wrong, and I knew it would make me feel happy to do them. So first of all, totally inspired by Michelle at Sewing Bunny. She made these in one of her sew-alongs back along, both this top and bottom, as a set of pajamas with all the contrasting rib, etc. And I just thought, oh yeah, I really want a nice pair of really fun pajamas. And all of the pajamas that I've made have got either shoestring straps or very short sleeves, and I wanted something that was a bit warmer. But this is actually a cotton jersey as opposed to a loop back jersey, which I think is what it suggests that you use. So it's just a cotton jersey, so it's still actually quite lightweight, and I really like it. It is from True Fabrics, and I bought it a long time ago. Oh, right, I'm going to have to put some pictures up on the screen, I think. But it's basically a grey background with these little colourful clouds with smiley faces, and I just absolutely love it. And I bought some ribbing. I bought a couple of different colours to try and see what was going to work, and all of my family said, oh, the blue one, and I was like, I think that's my least favourite. But in the end I decided to go with it, and oh my gosh, I'm so pleased I have, because I think it really picks up that blue, and they just make me feel really happy. So I know it sounds really silly, and I have to say it cured me of my sort of sewing frump that I had, where I was feeling after doing this. So I'm so pleased that I did these. So thank you, Michelle, for the inspiration. Now, sizing. On the True Bias, on the Grainline Linden sweatshirt, I actually measure into the size 8 measurements. But when I made this before, I think I must have looked at the finished garment measurements and decided that I didn't like the amount of ease that was in the pattern. So I actually made the size 6, and I did the same again on this. And I have to say, it is really roomy, that it's not pulling across the chest. There's no pulling there. The sleeves and everything aren't too tight. It's certainly not too tight around there. So I'm really glad that I sized down to the size 6, and I think that will be fine for the future, for future makes of this as well. And then on the Hudson pants, I can't actually remember what size I made, so I'll just see if I can very quickly see it. But I think, yes, I made the size 6 on those, which is a waist 29 and a hip 37. And the reason I did that, even though my waist is a size 30, is that because these are quite narrow fitting legging, or trackies really. They're not meant to be pajamas, I don't think. I've been told before that it's most important to go by your hip measurement. So I actually went by my hip measurement, knowing that the waist was going to be large and I'd have to cinch it in with elastic, and I just wouldn't cinch it in quite as much as what it was saying for that size 6. I just put it into my body measurements. The other thing to say about the trousers is it's meant to have a waist tie, but I've stopped putting those in now. They're absolutely no use to me. I don't use them, and I just think it's fine just with the elastic and the ribbing around it. So yeah, really, really nice fit. I absolutely love them. I look totally ridiculous in cloud pajamas, but you know what, I don't care. When I put them on, they make me happy. So that's it. I finished off with showing you some underwear in my pajamas. Anyway, I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing the huge amount of things that have been sewn this month. Obviously, I can't take credit for all of it. The 3 girls have all been sewing things as well, which has been absolutely fantastic. But let me know in the comments below what you've been sewing. If there are any questions on any of the things that I've made, then please do ask. And other than that, I hope you're all having a really good week. You take care, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.